Once upon a time, in a secluded corner of the forest, there lived a pair of devoted cats, Bramble and Thistle. They were no ordinary strays, but proud, sleek-furred felines who had found solace in a cozy den nestled among the roots of an ancient oak. Life was peaceful for them, except for one unfortunate truth. Their den stood within the territory of Grimalkin, a fearsome and cunning old she-cat known for her dark sorcery. Grimalkin was a monstrous feline, her fur as black as a raven's wing, her tail ragged from 100 battles, and her eyes a cruel shade of yellow. She ruled the shadowed glade with an iron claw, demanding tribute from those who dared to live within her domain. No mouse, no sparrow, no scrap of fish could be caught without her knowing, and every creature in the forest feared the whisper of her name. One moonlit night, Thistle, heavy with kittens, craved the tender leaves of the catnip that grew only in Grimalkin's garden. Bramble, eager to please his beloved, dared to sneak into the crone's lair to fetch the fragrant herb. He prowled through the underbrush, heart pounding, whiskers twitching at every rustling leaf, but the temptation was too great. He plucked a few of the precious leaves and was about to flee when a terrible yowl split the night. Grimalkin appeared, her fur bristling, fangs glinting like daggers in the moonlight. "You dare steal from me," she hissed, her voice curling like smoke in the air. Bramble dropped the leaves and arched his back, but he was no match for her sorcery. With a flick of her tail, dark magic bound him in place. "You will pay for this," she snarled, "but not with your life. No, your suffering will be greater." Thistle soon gave birth to a single, beautiful kitten with a coat like spun silver and eyes as bright as the morning sun. She named her Softpaw, for her dainty step and gentle nature. But before Thistle could even clean her newborn's fur, Grimalkin arrived, her cursed magic seeping into the den like an icy wind. "As punishment for your mate's theft," the sorceress declared, "this kitten is mine." With a swipe of her jagged claws, she snatched Softpaw away, vanishing into the night. Grimalkin took the tiny kitten to a hollowed-out tree that stood atop a jagged hill, where no cat dared tread. It was surrounded by brambles, its entrance sealed by twisting vines of thorns. There, she raised Softpaw, not with love, but with cold, calculated control. Yet Softpaw grew into a stunning feline, her silver fur catching the light like a sliver of the moon, her whiskers long and elegant. But she was lonely. She spent her days gazing out of her prison, watching the birds wheel through the sky, longing to leap through the treetops as her heart yearned for freedom. Grimalkin, determined to keep her captive, devised a method to keep her in the tree. "Softpaw, Softpaw, let down your tail," she would call, and Softpaw would lower her long, silky tail from the high branches. Grimalkin would climb up and bring her scraps of food and cruel lessons about the wickedness of the world outside. One day, a young tomcat named Thorn was passing through the woods when he heard the sweetest voice carried by the wind, a melody sung by Softpaw, her only comfort in her isolation. Thorn, with his wild fur the color of autumn leaves and his spirit as free as the river, was entranced. He crept through the undergrowth and beheld her through a gap in the thorny vines, his golden eyes wide with wonder. Softpaw saw him too, and her heart leaped. Never before had she seen another cat besides Grimalkin. She reached out a paw toward him, but the cruel vines held her back. Determined to return, Thorn watched from the shadows as Grimalkin approached. "Softpaw, Softpaw, let down your tail," the sorceress called, and Softpaw obeyed. Thorn waited until nightfall, then stepped forward. In the same tone he had heard Grimalkin use, he whispered, "Softpaw, Softpaw, let down your tail." Softpaw, eager for company, did as he asked, and in a moment, Thorn climbed into the tree. The two young cats touched noses, a spark of excitement running through them. They spent the night talking about the forest, about the world beyond the brambles, and about the way the moonlight painted the trees silver. Night after night, Thorn returned, and love blossomed between them. But Grimalkin was not so easily fooled. One evening, she noticed Softpaw's dreamy expression, the way she groomed her fur with more care than usual. Suspicion darkened her heart. That night, she waited in silence. When the fool's call came, "Softpaw, Softpaw, let down your tail," she tensed, her claws digging into the dirt. Thorn climbed up, only to be met with Grimalkin's terrible face. With a yowl of rage, she slashed at his eyes, sending him tumbling from the tree. His sight lost in a flash of agony. Softpaw shrieked, her heart breaking as Grimalkin turned on her. "You betrayed me," the sorceress spat. With one final, vicious curse, She seized Softpaw by the scruff and hurled her from the tree, sending her sprawling into the darkened forest. Softpaw ran for miles, heart pounding, eyes wild with fear. She searched for Thorn, calling his name in the wind, until at last she found him by the river. His sightless eyes turned toward the sky. "Softpaw," he murmured, and she rushed to his side, pressing her nose against his fur. "I'm here," she whispered, vowing never to leave him again. Guided by Softpaw's voice and scent, Thorn travelled with her through the wilderness, learning to navigate without his sight, until they found a hidden valley where cats lived free from fear. There, they built a new life together, and in time, Thorn's sight returned, not in full, but enough to see the light in Softpaw's eyes. Meanwhile, Grimalkin, confident that she had won, slunk back to her lonely tree. But something stirred in the roots that night, a deep, twisting magic older than her own. The tree, tired of housing her cruelty, shuddered and groaned, its gnarled branches twisting with fury. Before Grimalkin could react, the roots shot from the earth, curling around her limbs, dragging her down, down into the hollow she had once ruled. Her yowls echoed into the night, but no cat came to save her. The tree sealed its roots over her, and she was never seen again. And so, the cruel sorceress met her end, and Softpaw and Thorn lived long and free. Their love a legend whispered through the rustling leaves of the forest, where no dark magic would ever hold sway again.